I'm Simon and I'll be talking you through the Homely Installer app, as well as giving you a bit of information about what Homely is doing during the installation process. On opening the Installer app, the installer will be shown a list of previous installations, as well as the option to add a hub. On clicking Add a Hub, the installer will be asked to enter a property address and the serial number of the hub being installed. The property address is used to identify the hub later on the installer's previous installation list, and the serial number is used by us to identify the hub. After clicking Next, the installer will be asked to select the heat pump brand that's being installed with the hub. After selecting a brand, they'll then be asked to identify the particular model of that heat pump being installed. They'll then be asked the size of the hot water tank and any other options such as immersion on a mid-ear heat pump. They'll then be asked to pair the Wi-Fi to the customer's internet. They start doing this by pressing and holding the Wi-Fi button until it turns blue. They'll then be asked to connect to the hub with their phone through the Wi-Fi. The hub has a unique identifier every time it's told to go into Wi-Fi pairing mode, so it should be easy to identify. After connecting to it, they should then go back to the installer app and continue the install process. After the two have paired, it will then ask to identify the customer's Wi-Fi on the list. After selecting the Wi-Fi and entering the customer's password, the hub will then pair to the Wi-Fi and automatically start updating itself with the latest version of software. There will then be confirmation that the software is installed correctly, and we'll move on to installing the node. After removing the insulating paper for the node battery, the installer is asked to press and hold the button on the node until the light turns orange. This puts the node in pairing mode so the hub can automatically see it. After a successful pairing, the installer will then be asked to locate the node according to the guidelines and finalise the install. The installer will then be asked to identify the room the node is being installed in and what emitter type is in that room. The room name is used to identify the node later on, specifically in installs with 2 zones. The emitter type will help make sure that the emitter flow temperature settings are not set too high or too low for a given type of emitter. The installer is then asked to enter a minimum and maximum flow temperature. Finally, the installer will be asked to check the guidelines for the node placement and press the button once to confirm the connection is successful. After a successful connection notification, there will be a final check of the system to make sure that the node, the hub and the heat pump are all talking to each other. Now the installer is shown the installation with its hub, node and Modbus settings, as well as the ability to set boosts. On picking the hub data, you can check that the hub is up to date and that readings are being received. Similarly, for the node data, individual nodes associated with the hub can be checked to make sure that they're transmitting and that the temperature readings are sensible. And the boost options can be looked at to try out boosts in case the installer wants to check that domestic hot water and heating are working appropriately. interface works simply by toggling on and off. Backing out from that screen shows the full list of installations again, now with the extra installation.